Oh hi, this is going to be a tutorial on the last 6 edges of the roux method. The first subset of the last 6 edges is the edge orientation. This is going to go over all the 4 different edges you could have misoriented. You could have all the edges oriented, 6 edges misoriented, which is basically all of them, 2 edges, and 4 edges. Basically what you do is you manipulate the cases to turn it into the 4 edges misoriented, where you have 3 on the top, 1 on the bottom, and to solve this you do an M prime U M prime. And you can also have it so the bad edge is on the back. Now do an M U M prime. Of the 4 cases that you can have for the 4 edges misoriented, what you're basically doing is you're manipulating the edges to just transform it into the 3 edges misoriented on top and the 1 on the bottom face. So you can have 4 all on the U face. You do an M prime U2 M prime, and that would move the edge that was here down here. And so then you could do an M prime U M prime to solve it. The next case you can have is 2 on top next to each other and 2 on bottom. And to manipulate this, you do an M2, and then you'd have the 3 edges, and you do an M prime U M prime. The next case you can have is 2 on top, 2 on bottom, and they are opposite from each other. And to manipulate this, you'd move them so they're on the sides and then on the bottom. And you do an M prime U2 M prime. That'll make the 3 case on top and then 1 in the back D face. And so you do MUM prime. We're now going to the 2 misoriented cases, which are the first one is in the 1 misoriented in the back U face, and then the front D face. And you would do is M prime U M prime. That would change it into the other type of cases where you have 4 misoriented, and you manipulate that with an M2, and then you can just solve it. The next case is similar to the first case, except it's in the front and then the back here. And you do an M prime U M prime, and then you have the 3 on top and M U M prime. The next case we have is when they're opposite of each other, and to manipulate this you do an M prime U M prime, and then you'd have the case where you have 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top, M2, and then you can just solve it. The last case we have is when we have 2 on the top and they're next to each other, and to solve this you do an M prime U M prime, and then you'd have the 3 on top, so you do a U2 M prime U M prime. This goes over all 6 of the edges are misoriented, and to solve this you do a M prime U M prime, and then you'd have the diagonal M prime U M prime, M2, U, M prime U M prime. So you're basically switching up the cases to make easier cases. Yes. The next step in the last 6 edges is to solve the opposite faces, the blue and the green. And to do this, you're going to want to move a piece that's on either side to the D face, and then get it on the opposite. So you can do an M prime U2 M, and then you'd have opposites there, so you could do an M2 and that would solve them. It's very basic, and you'll figure out tips and tricks on how to do that. The last step is to solve the remaining M slice. That's all oriented. What you will do here is solve the rest of the cube basically. And you need to know where this 1 by 2 by 2 block is. That's right here. It's internal 1 by 2 by 2 block. And this piece needs to get all the way back here, and in doing so it'll solve the remaining pieces. This is a very intuitive step, and there's not many cases. You can have a M2, U2, U2, or yeah, and it looks like this, and you do U2, M2, U2, M2. This also looks similar to this, where it's on the top, so you just change the setup. You can also have the middle layer centers changed, or it would look like that, and that would be an E2, M prime, E2, M. And that is basically all the cases. The remaining cases are all 3 cycles of the corners and different M size orientation, like that. This case is the same as this, but just with an M2 in between.